Okay, hello everybody. I started the live broadcast, so it's a good moment to begin. It's also 7 o'clock. I guess just for everybody's awareness, this is the Zen meeting at Dharmabumtemple. I think this is our only Zen meeting every week. There might be another one that's virtual, but hopefully next time we'll have that clarified. But yeah, this is one of the few Zen meetings that we have here, and I'm really excited to share the space with y'all tonight. This is a really fun practice for me. I like it a lot, and I'm going to kind of outline a little bit about what I think we'll do tonight. And yeah, what are we doing? So we're going to go through a little bit of techniques and such about how to practice zazen or shikantaza, which are both kind of ways of saying sitting meditation. This is an unguided sitting meditation, so I am not going to be giving any instructions once I kind of ring the bell 3 times to begin the first meditation. I'll ring it again after about 15 minutes. I want to do a little bit shorter first meditation this time around, and then, so yeah, you'll hear 3 bells, and then 15-minute meditation, another 3 bells, and then I'll read a little bit from one of these books, and then open up for a little bit of discussion. I thought we could talk maybe a little bit tonight about kind of techniques for initiating maybe a daily meditation, and I thought of something today which was kind of a little bit, I find is a little bit funny about how to kind of set the stage for your own kind of personal practice. And I wanted to see if there's maybe something like maybe a group dynamic to how we can kind of strategize around about that. And then we'll do another meditation up until 7:55, and then dedication of merit, closing announcement from Meredith, our host, and then yeah, we'll be out of here. So yeah, for everybody here, is this anybody's first time at the Zen? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. And anybody's first time at Dharmabumtemple as well? Yours as well? Okay, cool. So this is, yeah, so the Zen kind of technique stuff I think is really good to go through. I really resonate a lot with Soto Zen meditation practice, which there's like 2 types of meditation or Zen meditation schools, I guess. There's like Rinzai and Soto Zen in Japan, and then there's like Chan, which is a precursor to both of those in China. And Soto Zen is really cool, I think, and there's a lot of it is derived from this guy Zen Master Dogen, and this is a book that's kind of a bunch of I guess summarizations and transcripts and translations of his writings from about 800 years ago. And he used to be kind of part of the Rinzai school, and then he, kind of did this amazing journey through China for 4 years, and then came back to Japan and started Soto Zen. And it was mainly focused on zazen, and there was this emphasis on just sitting, and it's pretty magical. And so I guess with a little bit of technique and everything for tonight, so we don't have to sit on the mats, but if you want to kind of meditate on the zafus and the zabuton, it's good to always have like a kind of an emphasis on posture. You kind of want to sit on the front third of the cushion for the zafu, and ideally you have your knees on the ground, but you don't have to. And I think this is to kind of create a little bit of a triangle of support and everything. And it's really stable and also really grounding. It's very cool. And yeah, I'm in like this Burmese position right now. And so Zen practice like kind of outlines a big thing about full lotus, which is extremely difficult to get into. So I don't expect anybody to get into that position at all. And anything not full lotus is half lotus. And yeah, so this is half lotus, that's half lotus, that's half lotus, we're all good. And so if you're sitting in a chair, it's good to have your feet maybe flat on the ground. If you can't have it flat on the ground, maybe put a pillow underneath it. And also, this is only a suggestion. I think it helps to feel grounded, and just to kind of like have an anchor position on where you want to be. And also really focus on posture. So we want a straight back, not like an arched back or anything, nothing too strenuous, just relaxed but alert. And yeah, so posture, and then last time I kind of talked a little bit about breathing, and yeah, I mentioned something about the speed of breath, and I've been really trying to, if I have the opportunity during a meditation, to think about the speed of the breath, which kind of discovered this little trick, which is you kind of want to, if you can, breathe so slowly that you can't hear it. So in and out. And if you are thinking about breathing, to anchor yourself again, just do 3 in and outs. So three breaths. And yeah, it's not important to do the speed thing, but it is fun to kind of do that because it's a really slow breath and really slows things down. So that's all the techniques I think I'll go through. And then, yeah, I wanted to read a little bit from Shunryu Suzuki's book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind. This is an epic Soto Zen book. Shunryu Suzuki started the San Francisco Zen Center, I think in the 60s maybe. And just from the title alone, you kind of get this impression about something about beginner's mind, which the opposite of beginner's mind is like an expert's mind. And I think the proposition with this title is that this practice cultivates a beginner's mind. And the reason for that is because an expert's mind on any subject is kind of narrow. And so they're so well versed and so well kind of, and it's not a bad thing, but experts are kind of like very knowledgeable about one thing usually, or many things, but it's like these narrow lanes. And they know a lot of stuff, and they're a little bit less open because they're so well studied, and that's great. But with a beginner's mind, you kind of have this sense of openness because they don't know the answers to all the questions. They don't like know the path yet, and so it's kind of like this really broad, open mind. And that's great too. It's good to be a beginner. And so the proposition I think that Suzuki makes is that if you practice zazen or you practice meditation, then you kind of have this beginner's mind afterwards, and it's a very equanimous mind, equanimity. So you kind of cultivate equanimity, and you have this beginner's maybe attitude towards things, and it's, in my opinion, really exciting. So he has a quote, or I'm going to quote the book here, and then we can start the meditation. So in the beginner's mind, there is no thought, like I have attained something. All self-centered thoughts limit our vast mind. When we have no thought of achievement, no thought of self, we are true beginners. Then we can really learn something. The beginner's mind is the mind of compassion. When our mind is compassionate, it is boundless. That's really great. So yeah, I'll stop talking and just ring the bell, and see y'all soon. Cool. So I asked them to kind of trigger the baby. It's actually
It's a beginner's mind there.
exactly. It's a couple, and they had just adopted that baby, and Jeff knows them, so it's there's a story there, and I forget more of the details, but it's very exciting. So I think we'll be hearing this kid grow up over the years. But yeah, feel free to move around. My this leg is totally asleep, so sorry if this position kind of offends anybody. But yeah, loosen up, and it's okay to move. It's okay to sit back down. So, like I said before, we'll do some kind of talking, and then I was going to read a little bit from this book called Beyond Thinking. That's that kind of Zen Master Dogen book. And then, open it up for some discussion. And then I had a particular topic that I thought maybe if we have time to get to before we do the second meditation and everything. And I think I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but my name is Cory. And I've been coming to the Dharmabumtemple for about 1.5 years now, and I have a very novice practice, I'd say, in meditation, and I'm a very novice Buddhist as well. So if you have any kind of Buddhist or meditation questions for me, I can give it a really good shot, but I'm not guaranteeing anything. I won't be afraid. I'm trying not to be afraid to say I don't know the answers if I think it's not going to be helpful at all for me to answer something. But yeah, so like I said earlier, this I really like this book called Beyond Thinking. I've kind of plugged this book a bunch of times. I should get commissioned for it at this point. I don't know if anybody's actually bought it yet, based on any of the talks that I've given on it. But yeah, Dogen, really cool what he did, kind of emphasizing zazen practice, which is just sitting. And for me, I kind of did a lot of meditation before I found my way to a Buddhist practice, and somehow I gravitated slowly towards just setting a timer on my phone and letting and then meditating and kind of seeing what happens. And it was really exciting to find that there's a whole school of Buddhism, or whole, kind of sect of Buddhism that's very much practicing that in a way, unguided meditation, a lot. And there's a whole community around it. So it's very well documented on the internet. It's very well documented in books like these. So it's really, really very exciting for me. But yeah, so this is a little passage from the book, which I read kind of yesterday, and I thought it'd be a nice little segue into the second half of this meeting today. So this is a quote from Buddha. So when you sit in the meditation posture, you realize samadhi in body and mind. Samadhi is one pointed state of stable meditation, and it gives rise to an awesome virtue that people respect, like the sun illuminating and refreshing the world. This sitting removes obscurities from the mind, enlightens the body so that exhaustion is set aside. Enlightenment becomes as natural as a dragon curled up at rest. A demon is frightened even by a picture of someone sitting in the meditation posture. How much more so by a living person who realizes the way sitting motionless and at ease. Yeah, so that's kind of a really, really powerful quote, I think. And it kind of goes, a little bit into this kind of mysticism that Dogen references there, like talking about dragons and demons and everything. And there's a whole lot of Buddhist cosmology out there that ties into the religion before Buddhism, which is Hinduism and everything. And so there's there's a lot of that in these kinds of texts, and it's interesting. But I think the point that I get from that is, there's kind of weird aura that being in a meditation posture kind of emanates, and it has like this kind of unspoken message, and there's a lot there to unpack, and I think it kind of segues a little bit into this other topic that I have for later, maybe in a few minutes. But yeah, with all that said, I'll invite the kind of Sangha here to maybe share about anything that you experienced in the meditation, or maybe share about your personal practice if you're kind of really excited about something. If you have any questions, I can try and answer those. And we'll give it a few minutes for that. But I guess, just kind of open it up for that. Yeah.
My big challenge is that I just have thoughts come up all the time, and I just say, okay, let's go back to the breathing. That's what I try to focus on. But I would say the percentage of time that I'm actually focused on the breathing is probably 20 to 30%, maybe that, maybe less. So I do what I need, which is to gently bring myself back, and maybe notice what it's about, the topic, and then go back to the thing. But I don't seem to be making a whole lot of progress on improving that.
Yeah. So what are you trying to get to?
I'm trying to get to a state of kind of just quiet awareness.
Cool. I think it's a good aspiration, and yeah, I think every time I've ever a lot of the time I've sat down personally to meditate, it's kind of to get there as well. Just maybe self-reflect or slow down and really kind of bridge into the next part of the day or something. But the mind doesn't stop thinking, and I think that this concept of beyond thinking is kind of a practice, but even so, it's not like even in that state of mind you ever really stop. I think maybe we stop when we're kind of unconscious and sleeping, but it's always going to keep going. But I think as well, when you first start meditating, it's amazing how you can kind of witness yourself, and acknowledge what's going on in a way. It's like it can be chaotic, or it can be like even calm at sometimes, in the beginning. And what's really amazing, I think, is that as you progress into the meditation, or at least in my practice, like, there's this almost transformation that happens even halfway through that you can feel. You can almost feel the calmness coming. And like, I don't know if anybody else kind of resonates with that at all, or resonates with his description of what it's like meditating, but I mean, even the percentages, I think, are really close to what I, kind of go through. I think you're doing it right.
Another question. You mentioned cosmology.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of that because I'm new to this.
Yeah.
What is the purpose of the cosmology? You talking about like, this dragon fights this dragon or something? What are you talking about?
Yeah. So I'm going to butcher everything I'm about to say, but like, there's these, there's a lot of kind of like emblems and everything, and a lot of these bodhisattvas and everything. They kind of look like gods in a way, and like this one's blue, and I think this person symbolizes like a medicine kind of bodhisattva. And so, Buddhism is from India, and it's and I think the prominent religion of the time was Hinduism. And so there's a lot of parallels to that kind of cosmology. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're there, and the symbols are there. And like even down in the Buddha for You store, there's like kind of little emblems of like Shiva and everything, or the little statues of Shiva. And like I have an incense catcher that has Ganesh on it, the god of success. So it's like, I think that's part of what I meant by the cosmology. but it's just, I think that that's kind of like how people at the time related to God. And, you know, a lot of the things that were, the way that people talked about it then was kind of transferred over into Buddhism over time. And it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's just words, really, and like kind of explaining like different parallels and stuff. And like Hindus meditate, a lot of other religions meditate, and it's a very ubiquitous kind of practice, I think, with different techniques all over the place. I mean, even within Buddhism, there's, you know, so many different ways to meditate. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I guess I'm just, makes sense that there would be people being creative and inventive and come up with new techniques.
Mhm.
So I guess I just figured out that I've seen it.
Yeah, it's cool.
So when people go, you know, say, to someone goes over to China or Japan, what are they doing there? Just sitting, meditating?
I don't know. I had the privilege of going to Bangkok in December, this past December, and there was one or two temples that I got to go in, like I think it was Wat Arun in Bangkok, and it there was like a sitting space where I could meditate, but it was kind of like this weird tourist type thing where you kind of float into the temples, you kind of donated money to get in, and then you meditated briefly. But yeah, I think the monasteries probably have a lot more structure and everything, and I can't really speak to what those are like. But yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of thought in like my experience. I relate with like most of the time I feel like I'm trying to get back to my breath. Unintentionally, it's happened very few times, like maybe 2 or 3, 5 maybe. That I've actually felt like I experienced something a little bit more like calm or zen or anything like that, or peace, like to a small degree. It wasn't through me trying, it just so happened. It was like a nice surprise. And I'm like, oh, cool. But, yeah.
Can I add something? I think in our practice, sometimes in the West, we have this mindset of like, if you're going to do something, you have to do it well, right? And people are doing it well, people are doing well. I think with meditation, it's kind of the opposite. People are doing it, they're doing poorly. So if you're struggling with something, you're still actually doing it, and you're still getting closer to whatever it is. And I think anytime that you're new at something, you're going to struggle, and in the beginning it's going to be like, oh, I want to get past this point, but you really can't get past that point until you learn actually how to struggle, if that makes sense.
Thank you.
Hey, my name's Art. I've been coming here about 3 years, and I've practiced meditation for about 6 years. First time was when I went to rehab, and then when I was locked up. I tried the first few times, and always expecting something and think like, oh, you know, I'm going to levitate or something, or be my creator, or whatever. And then I just decided, you know, I'm just going to try to not think, just let it go, you know, just no expectations. And the first few times I would come here, and I'm sure people would notice I would fall asleep. But then as I kept on going at it, I started getting, I think I started getting better at it. Just like the gentleman said, there's been a few times I could count with one hand, and I have extra fingers where I would say I reached almost like a state of bliss. And it feels awesome. And I'm totally aware and conscious, and then boom, it's over, and I'm like, wow. So I want to get back to that. And it's only happened a handful of times. Talking to the Buddhist nuns up the street on Park, they kind of showed me, and analogy. So I'm a big baseball guy. So, you know, when I first started playing baseball, I wasn't hitting the ball and I wasn't hitting home runs. I just had to practice at it to the point where, you know, when I made it to college, I was hitting the ball. But that came with constant repetitive practice. And, yeah, you know, from time to time it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Usually it doesn't. But what I do like about me meditating is all the crap that I have in my head, or if I feel that my world is starting to be a little too much, I'll just step on the brakes. And then it's kind of like I get to recharge my batteries. That's it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. So yeah, I think, is there any other questions? Anybody have?
I was just going to say that when in the beginning, when my mind would go quite a bit, you know, one of the things I learned from Sam Harris was paying attention to your body sensations. So if the mind's got to chew on something, allow it to be the visuals that you're experiencing with your eyes closed, the sounds that you're hearing, you know, the feeling of the weight of your butt on the cushion, and pay attention to your senses and your breath, and not just the breathing in and out, but actually the flaring of the rib cage a little bit, and the subtle nuances, and the sensation of it going through your nose, and that will keep you in the present moment in your body sensations, and give the mind something that's the ever present moment to chew on.
Okay, thank you. And I think it's meditation is just about being kind of like present and having this heightened awareness, and it's a little bit extreme in my opinion, and like I think that's the point, is to kind of like really dive in to awareness and being present, and that's why you're kind of grounded and, you know, in a posture where you're alert, so that you're kind of, you know, stable, you know, you're not going anywhere. So it's like you're kind of overclocked on awareness and presence, and I think it's why there's, you know, a possibility of enlightenment, you know, in those moments. It's very exciting. But yeah, the topic that I keep alluding to, that I wanted to maybe get one or two maybe experiences of, if people, you know, if it resonates with anybody, I guess. But I live alone currently, and it's really easy for me to do like this daily practice of meditating when I'm kind of alone, because there's really like, it's easy to plan it. If I have like a break in the day, or if I have, you know, kind of high aspirations on kind of getting it done first thing in the morning, you know, it gets done, and it's like kind of following my own schedule and everything. But I've noticed that when I have guests over who are like staying in my house, my mom in particular, it's really difficult to kind of break away and go and, you know, meditate. And there were one or two instances where I tried to just meditate without announcing it. And I thought there was something odd about it for everybody else's experience. Maybe they were like, where did Cory go? And what is he doing? And I found over time that it's actually really helpful for me to tell people like, hey, I'm gonna meditate and it's gonna be 20 minutes, and don't worry about disturbing me. That's actually really awesome if you're talking, because it helps me, you know, kind of practice, you know, my thing. But it's something that kind of I've learned over time is, you know, if somebody else is in your space, or if you're sharing space with somebody, it's good to actually announce it. And yeah, and it's actually really welcome, I think, like kind of what the Buddha was saying about this like demon, how like the posture of meditation is, it holds like a lot of respect, like, you know, this dragon, I think, kind of respects the meditation pose in practice, in what the Buddha and Dogen were kind of alluding to. And so I think a lot of people actually really want you to meditate, and if you announce that you're going to do it, it's never going to be a problem. But yeah, I don't know. Does do y'all have experiences with that? And like, is it an issue to kind of like carve out space if you live with other people or share space with other people to meditate?
I notice that sometimes a good opportunity for me to have like a micro meditation moment will be even if sharing a meal recently at a table, even just like closing my eyes or kind of like clearly shifting my body language to kind of go more inward for a few minutes before the meal or even at the beginning of the meal, just kind of like giving oneself permission to shift, both announced and unannounced, has been something that I've been trying lately that I have been enjoying.
Nice.
When I get off work, I'll bike to the trolley station. I work down the South Bay, so I'll go to Calamar and it's the trolley. So I get on and I'm like, you know what? I kind of challenge myself. I know there's gonna be all sorts of characters that are gonna get on the bus. Some good, some bad, some not so bad. And when I get into 12th and Imperial or Park and Market or Fifth Avenue, City College, you name it, it's like, all right, here's what I'm being tested. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I lose my focus, but it's something I do every day, and it's just if everything in a perfect world, I would be able to meditate like I just did right now, but that's not my reality.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I guess I was actually thinking about this earlier, but an even bigger progression into carving out that space and kind of announcing it is maybe even making an invitation. Because I usually don't share the space a lot with people who also meditate, and or when I'm at my house and stuff, like my mom, she doesn't meditate in the story, so I think that'd be like a big jump and very awkward for me to handle. But yeah, it might even be something I do in the future, hopefully. Yeah.
When you have a place like this that's kind of dedicated to it, it's logical. But do people sometimes, like in the living room, say, well, I'm going to have a meditation from noon to 1, everybody's welcome? Do people do that kind of stuff?
I've never experienced that, but yeah, I imagine you're nodding, yes.
Yeah,
You guys, tell me about it. How's it work?
I mean, I've never hosted. I know that people do that.
Okay.
At least as part of a big artist community.
Artist community,
I'm part of an artist community,
and they do it there.
and I've hosted a lot of events, not on meditation, but on singing, because I'm a singing coach.
Okay.
And I've been invited to meditation parties or like circles.
Meditation party, they call it. Okay.
I mean, people make whole events, like big old holistic events. So we're going to do yoga, and then we're going to meditate. And somebody made Ayurvedic soup, It's like, great.
I mean, if the idea exists, then
Yeah.
the potential.
So is it a one-off, like once every other month, or is it like?
I mean, the institutions
Saturday,
behind
or-
this
huh?
kind of institutions developing these kinds of healing practices and sharing them in a popular world are
What do you use?
the word institution, yeah,
Oh,
because it's easy when you have a temple that's 100 years old, but when you're trying to foster a community
Right.
that's mixed with new age and old culture and build something from there, grassroots efforts aren't always strong enough to last more than a year or two or become just an annual event. It's different to build something new.
Yeah.
Not that this is new, but just, the fusion stuff. The fusion of like, this is electro dance and then we're gonna meditate and then we're gonna, stuff like that.
Interesting.
The festivals, I think, are a good example of people gathering once a year at least, something like that. Although the energies are so mixed that it becomes multi-directional intentions and they can get messy, and that's why we need institutions, and now we're going to this.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Yeah, I have something to add too. I lived with my boyfriend and I got him into meditation. So like, even though we lived together, well-established time where like we both know in the morning we're both gonna meditate. So I'll like wake up and I see he's meditating in the living room, and then maybe I'll go meditate in the room. And then like even if I'm on like family vacation, I'll tell my family like I'm gonna go meditate for 20 minutes in the room, and they're pretty respectful of that and they encourage it. So I think it's like if you can establish that boundary with whoever you're with, like ideally they'll respect that. But I think it's really just for you to communicate that, and that's what you can do.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I think we'll sit for a little bit. It won't be that long. It'll only be like maybe 4 minutes. But yeah, I'll ring the bell again and then kind of bell us out, and then we'll do our kind of closing activities. I really appreciate all the conversation on this. It's really helpful. Okay, everybody, welcome back again. Really enjoyed all sitting. It really is a kind of a magical thing to kind of share that with everybody and share the space with everybody. Welcome again for those who came the first time, and I hope you come back. And we'll do a dedication of merit to close things out, and then Meredith will kind of give us the host's closing announcements and everything. So feel comfortable, bring your hearts or your hands to palm center, the heart. May any merit gained tonight be transferred and of benefit to the world. And if we could carve a little bit of that out for our friend Mark. He's a temple friend. He's dealing with a lot of suffering at the moment. That would be really wonderful for him. All right, Meredith.
Hi, everybody. Tonight's host, Meredith. Before I read the normal announcements, I wanted to let everybody know that we are marching together in the Pride Parade as a temple. And if you want to join us on the 19th, which is Saturday, come here to the temple at 10, and we're going to walk over as a group because all the starting points are changed this year because there's a lot of construction over there. So if you're interested, I think there are ways to sign up, like through Facebook, the temple Facebook page. But if you can't find that, don't worry about it. Just show up by 10 o'clock on Saturday the 19th here. The other thing I wanted to let you know, if you're new to meditation and you like this quiet type of meditation, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. from 8 to 9 and from 12 to 1, the temple is open and you can come in here and sit. There's somebody who sits in the back and rings the bell. It's a really nice way if you have time during the day to come over and just get some quiet time in a dedicated space if you feel like you need that, especially if you're new. So that's Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 and from 12 to 1. Okay, regular announcements. We opened the Dharmabumtemple 18 years ago to introduce Buddhist practice to those who show up. Those who lead are not nuns, monks, gurus, masters, or teachers, and are not looking for students. They are simply practitioners sharing their interpretation of the practice. Every night we have different classes led by different people from various Buddhist traditions. We have a recovery sangha that meets several times a week for anyone with addiction, and our food redistribution program is every Thursday at 4:30. We have classes and programs every day, and everything we offer here is always free. The full schedule is on our website and also posted in the entryway above the shoe rack. We have a lending library. If you see a book you like, feel free to borrow it and just bring it back whenever you're done with it. If you could please straighten your seat or cushion before you head out, that would be helpful. Thank you for being here. We wish you well and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks so much.